not born with the birth of Jesus. No, not born with the birth of anyone. Always was and always will be, and that's in each and every one of us. And so we have that. We all are potential Christ. What happened? As I have said, we lost it. We had the Christ consciousness within us, the realization of it, of the centers of the spine, and of the thousand-rayed lotus called the holy mountain. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God, we find in Ezekiel, and thou didst walk up and down amidst the stones of fire. Those are the spiritual centers of Christ consciousness in each and every one of us, but we lost it when delusion came in upon us. Now, we have to once more regain it and express it as Jesus did. The works I do, he said, ye shall do, and greater works. Certainly. Why? Because each and every one of us is a potential Christ. So we have once more to bring that to the front and achieve within each and every one of us the second coming of Christ, or the Christ consciousness which Jesus manifested so completely, especially as the aspect of God of love and compassion. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You think that was the body of Jesus speaking? No. That was the presence of God in him as the Christ consciousness speaking. Father, they don't know that it is you and me speaking. Forgive them. So that's the divine aspect of Jesus. And that's the aspect which we must be one with. And we can, because that consciousness did not come into being with the birth of Jesus. It always was and always will be. And we have several references in the Bible to substantiate that. That there have been many Christs, many of people who manifested Christ consciousness. Let us take up one or two, and then we will pass on. We have substantiation in the Vedic scriptures, in the Bhagavad Gita, in our Bible, and other scriptures. I'll take up just those two this morning in a few moments. In the Hindu philosophy, in the Bhagavad Gita, we read about Jadava, the Krishna, King Jadava, an ordinary king, a human being, but he manifested Christ consciousness. So he was called Jadava the Krishna. Krishna means Christ consciousness. And there are many others. In our Bible we have definite references to the fact that Christ consciousness did not come with the birth of Jesus. Before Abraham was, I am. Jesus said in St. John, the 8th chapter. Before Abraham was. Abraham had been dead quite a while. And the people couldn't understand Jesus' words. And he was trying to tell them that the same consciousness which manifested in him as the Christ consciousness was the same that Abraham had and before Abraham. The same one consciousness of God. We also have in Proverbs, I have given you that reference. And we find in the Old Testament Jehovah spoken of. Now, Jehovah of the Old Testament, before Jesus' time, means the Christ consciousness. In the New Testament, we read, the Lord possessed me. And in the Old Testament, too. Lord and Jehovah, or Jehovah and Christ consciousness, are one and the same thing. Another place we find spoken of the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord. The Lord is Christ consciousness. The angel means light. And so we can say the light of Christ consciousness. Long before the advent of Jesus, going on in Daniel, the 7th chapter, the 9th verse, there the one great light of Christ consciousness manifesting as the spiritual vehicle is spoken of as the Ancient of Days. So you see, Christ consciousness is not a new thing. 2,000 years ago always was. And it is spoken of as the Ancient of Days, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. This refers to The Christ consciousness in the spiritual body, the spiritual vehicle which every one of us has. The throne is the thousand-rayed lotus where the great concentration of spiritual energy in Christ consciousness is found. And interesting, the wheels. The wheels refer to the centers of the spine where the spiritual consciousness resides, because the Sanskrit word chakra, which means spine, and the Sanskrit word wheels of radiating energy are the same. And so here we have in our own Bible a reference to that Christ consciousness which always was and always will be and is found within each and every one of us in the body of light, the body of the light of Christ consciousness within each and every one in these certain definite places, and they can be contacted and merged into. And so the Christ is within each and every one of us. And finally, in Revelation, the first chapter, we have there once more spoken of this Christ consciousness of old, where it is spoken of one like unto the Son of Man. The spiritual body of each one of us, which holds Christ consciousness, or through which Christ consciousness manifests, is like the body of the Son of Man, like unto the body of the Son of Man, with a garment down to his feet, and girt about with a golden girdle. And so there we have that one eternal Christ consciousness. Don't think it's new. And don't think you can't manifest, because Jesus said, the things I do ye shall do, and greater things, because I go unto my Father. Each one of us is a potential Christ, and that's the lesson of Christmas. To remember that the things that Jesus did, we can do. There have been many Christs throughout the scriptures you read. Moses, Abraham, Buddha. Throughout scriptures you'll find there have been many who expressed Christ consciousness. But the lesson we must learn is that each and every one of us is a potential Christ and can manifest Christ consciousness.